I had to skip a whole bunch of episode with Maffie, which was kind of annoying. Because there was a lot of like direct dispatch talk, and at one point I think Legion like said there's gonna be spoilers. I thought, fuck, I really actually do want to play dispatch.
The second episode for Maffie is Baldur's Gate 3, so just be careful.
Perfect. Can watch that. 2 levels.
Spoilers, it's really good.
Okay, 3 spoilers. I know it's really good. I know I don't enjoy it, so I'm never going to play it. But I also know that there's enough variety in the story that like the chance of me having my like exact playthrough spoiled is pretty low.
There's stuff that I, after 1,500 hours in the game, still have never experienced. You might hear spoilers and be like, all right, well, I wasn't ever going to play it that way anyway.
Yeah.
And then the thing that you were going to do is something I've never even thought of, so I couldn't spoil it for you.
So I did the Druid Circle, I can't remember the detail, but I think I did it the good way. Like, you know, I tried to save people and then went into the Underdark via the, can't remember what it was. There's some civilization underground, and you help them, and then they're going to send you to Midnight Land, or whatever it's called. It's not that, but you know what I mean. It's something like that, right? Midnight Towers?
Moonlit Towers.
Oh, I'm pretty close.
Moonrise Towers.
Ah, okay.
I kept thinking, like, Moonlit didn't sound right. Moonlight sounded closer, but it still didn't sound right.
And Midnight was wrong.
Well, yeah, but nobody was expecting you to be right about anything.
I kind of held out hope.
Before we begin, the Gamer's Advocate would like to remind you that any episode could contain game spoilers, so watch or listen with discretion. And now your hosts, AM Comnenos, Banana, and Legion. Enjoy the show.
Well, welcome on in to yet another episode of the Gamer's Advocate podcast. We are joined yet again with ItsMaffie. Yay! Yeah.
Hello. Thanks.
And of course, Banana Hammock Republic and myself, Legion. We go over games, as much subjects as we can kind of dig up and discuss. Old games, new games, current games, beloved games, hated games. We'll talk about it. If there's anything in that you want us to review, put it in the comments and we'll take a look at it. All comments are read and replied to. But we're going to start off with a little bit of a game, a brand new game we've never played before, one that I'm sure Maffie will enjoy. It's called Fuck, Marry, or Kill. And we're going to have an option between Liara, Garrus, or Miranda. And I will let Banana go first this time, since it's our inaugural one.
Sure. So this one's easy for me. Marry Liara, fuck Garrus, kill Miranda. We talked about Miranda in the Companions episode, and the way you're introduced to her and the things she is open to when you first meet her are disgusting. She is a vile person and very unlikable, and she grows to become a lot better than that. But it feels like she was on this path to be just awful until Shepard kind of got involved and more or less gave her a reason to be better. And I'm not a fan of that. I think she is that initial meeting never disappears for me. That first impression is always there. So for me, she does get a lot better, but she's never fully redeemed. Garrus is Garrus. Garrus is S tier. Garrus is wonderful. He is always on your side. He's always supportive. He's never the roll over and just do what he's told kind of supportive, but he is always going to be eventually coming around to your side. So can't kill Garrus, but he's also not Liara. So Liara is my marriage choice, I guess. Because Liara grows over the course of the Mass Effect games and becomes such a stark contrast to who she was at the beginning, and this incredibly capable, confident, and knowledgeable person. So when you first meet her, she is a bit naive, and when you're looking at Liara in Mass Effect 3, that naivety is gone. She is a very aware person. She understands the way the universe works, and she has found her place in it to kind of guide things in the direction she wants. And I think all of those qualities are very attractive.
Yeah. Well said. Did you want to go next, Maffie, or do you want me to go?
No, I have to think a bit more. You go.
Fuck Miranda, marry Garrus, and then kill Liara. So the Miranda,
Of course you would.
Yeah, the Miranda one's not kind of what you think. Garrus is the
It's exactly what I think.
the fulcrum here. I mean, honestly, I would have said marry Miranda if it was anybody else besides Garrus or Tally. That's why I was like saying that. But Garrus is always kind of like a ride or die. Whether you choose a full renegade path, whether you choose a full paragon path, he's your dude. So he's the one you got to marry. Miranda, like I said, I think I could marry Miranda, sure, but I can't. I can only marry one. So it would definitely be fuck Miranda. And plus, I mean, I like her suit. It's a good suit. It's good design. Especially the little hexes on there. It's like wow. But more specifically with Liara, I would kill her because I don't trust the
because
Asari.
she's Asari.
Yeah,
you can just say that.
Yeah, I don't trust the
racist.
Asari in general. They're me and Banana have long conversations about this. I get Banana all worked up on it too. But Liara is
no logical consistency.
Well, yeah, I mean, like
love Miranda for all of the things that are true about the Asari, but you hate the Asari for them.
And the Asari, even Liara doesn't know about all of the things that go on. When you go to the temple and you realize there was a beacon there that whole time, the Asari have been manipulating the whole galaxy this whole time just because they've had a technological advantage. But like I said, it was unknown to Liara, but the Asari have definitely had that edge. And just like biologically, they always have that edge. So if I was had to make those choices, then yeah, I would have to kill Liara. But
they had that edge because the Protheans gave them the most essentially in comparison to other races, right? They wanted the Asari to be the next strong prevalent species in the galaxy.
But yeah, they also take on the presentation that's most pleasing to the person that's viewing them. And so if you're looking at it from a Solarian, they look Solarian. If you look at it from a Turian, they look Turian. So
Legion just doesn't like anybody who has the capability of being evil and then doesn't choose to be evil. So he doesn't like Liara because she's incredibly capable of deception, but she never actually
she does deceive you quite a few times, but it's with reason, and so I can't dismiss that.
Alternatively, there's Miranda, who never does.
Right, she's got to look out for herself.
It's always the worst.
Yeah, which I love. So
yeah.
All right, Maffie, you're up.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start with the most controversial thought first and then go from there. I actually see a lot of Blonde Blazer and Miranda. They are both these corporate girls that knew how to maneuver their way around the corporate world very well. And I definitely don't agree with Banana. Miranda does have feelings. And she does have a soft side.
I never said she doesn't have feelings. I said she's awful.
But if you have to put it like marry, fucking kill, I think it's extremely unfair of you to put Miranda with the other two. You should have put Tally with the other two. Because the OGs, let's make it all about the OGs. Or I would definitely kill Ashley.
I mean, you did miss an opportunity for us to kill Caden again.
Yeah.
Or
It's too easy.
have to choose who to kill between Liara, Tally, and Garrus. You know, that would be fucked up.
For a future episode.
So Miranda, I think that because the other two are very, very, they're just such a staple in the story and so intertwined with Shepard's own journey. I could never kill either Liara or Garrus. So I would definitely have to kill Miranda, although I don't want to. I wouldn't marry Miranda, but I wouldn't kill her either. It's a very two different polar opposites of the spectrum. But yeah, so maybe I would marry Garrus and fuck Liara. Yeah.
Which is really going to be the options you have in Mass Effect 1 anyway.
Garrus is just this friend that everyone deserves and everyone should have. Or doesn't deserve. I don't know. And Liara is, she's always there. She's this very intelligent, quippy being, also kind of tragic in her own way. And she's definitely one of the most developed characters in the story as well because of her popularity and everything. Like, I get it. She's great.
Yeah, and it is possible to play it to where Liara is the only person who carries over to Mass Effect 3. So, talk about a staple. Because you can kill Garrus.
Yeah.
And, you can kill
True.
Tally. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah. Now, there's definitely a lot said about Garrus, but probably not enough said at the same time, because even when you go into Mass Effect 3 and the Primarch is, not saluting, he does something, I forget, to Garrus. And, Shepard notices this, says, how high up are you in the chain there, Vicarian? He's like, let's not get into that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's a lot going on.
I never played with a female Shepard just because in my mind, Shepard is a dude. He's just a guy. So I never actually had the chance to see the whole depth of the romance with Garrus. From that you only get with a female Shepard. And I saw this part in the romance where I think it's in 2, right? You can start like seriously flirting with him in 2. And there's this part where they're talking about like some flexibility or something like that.
Yeah, he had reach and she had flexibility.
Right, that one, yeah. And then the Shepard kind of like introduces this idea, and in the next talk, so basically what I'm trying to say is that you get this scene and it ends without a resolution to it, so the player keeps thinking about it, and conversely, if the characters had a thought in their head, they would also be thinking about this. And then in the next conversation, you get to resolve that either way. And what I really like about that scene that a lot of others don't get, or like that doesn't really happen very often in games, let's say, is that he's like, oh, you can find something closer to home. Like, are you sure you wanna go this way? It would just be better to just not, and we are still amazing friends. And it becomes something that should be kind of cringe and embarrassing, and it isn't. And it's instead this really nice, like, I thank you for the thought, but we could just leave it at that, and we both know how much we care about each other, and it's flattering. and it is just pleasant instead of becoming like an embarrassing moment, like, oh, okay, let's maybe not do that. I really like it. And it makes you feel good if you say yes or no. If you say, yeah, let's not do that, he's like, yeah, I agree, like, good one, like, I love you, let's just blow some shit up or something.
Well, that's why I said, Garrus is a ride or die. Whether you like bring him in that role or don't bring him in that role, he's got your back. He's
yeah. And he's mature enough to be able to separate things, even if things don't go that other way that might have been implied before. Yeah, I really like that.
I think I did realize why Legion didn't choose Liara, Garrus, and Tally, though. Is because in Legion's head, the canon is that Garrus and Tally end up together. And so if you give us these three options, that canon isn't possible because somebody has to die and then you have to marry one of the remaining ones. Well, they can't end up together if one of them's dead or one of them's married to Shepard. So
I can't say that that's the reason, but it was a consideration. That's why I did. Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, true. I always forget that if you don't go with either Garrus or Tally, that's definitely they flirt, right? In Mass Effect.
They're very close, and they actually do get together, and they the Turians and the Quarians share the same biochemistry, so they can eat the same foods and stuff like that. So yeah,
that's perfect. Good for them. I like that. That's one of the reasons why I don't romance Tally either. I don't know. Tally's a bit too young on the first one, and it's just like robbing the cradle. Like, it feels a little weird.
Well, not by 3.
Not by 3, yeah, but
I don't think you can romance her in 1, right?
No, not in 1.
Can't.
Yeah.
But she does have a crush on you, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
that's
the
probably that
transference
you were talking about. Shepard's hero.
Right? Yeah. In the previous episode, yes. Oh my god, it just blew my mind. Yeah. I don't vibe with that. Let's leave Tally to her own devices.
Well, today we're going to be discussing Baldur's Gate 3. Big surprise. Usually when it's me and Banana, we're talking Baldur's Gate. But Maffie is in the industry. She's a game developer, and I know you love Baldur's Gate 3, so prime opportunity for us to go over that with a different point of view in tow. So I'm really looking forward to your thoughts on that. But we're just going to kind of cover like some of the characters that we like, maybe even didn't like or whatever, off the cuff. So I'll kind of start it off. I personally love Minthara. love Minthara. I have a soft spot for the Drow. I just always have. And Minthara could have been very easily written as this evil elf, because that's what they are. The Drow are just kind of evil by nature.
Could have very easily been written exactly how she's written.
Yeah.
She is an evil elf.
Yeah.
Good job.
If you know Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 with Viconia, there's a certain arc there where she was part of the Drow society, and that society has Loth as their main goddess. And Loth is not a forgiving god. Shar is not forgiving at all, but it's different because Shar has a level of like, you don't always have to necessarily believe in Shar, but as long as you do what they're being asked, you're going to be fine. Whereas Loth, you have to be a total cultist believer. You have to do exactly what they say. Minthara has a problem with that, just like Viconia did. She comes with it from a very different point of view because she chose, even though she still had high standing, to not be part of that group anymore. She sees things for what they are. If you get a chance to like talk to her about the different companions that she has, she says, tell me a little bit about what's your thoughts on Shadowheart? What's your thoughts about Will? It's surprising how astute she is about just giving a breakdown of them. And I often refer to that if you're kind of like looking like, what type of character are we looking at here? Just ask Minthara. She'll tell you. She's got no blinders on or anything. She's got no rose-colored glasses. I can really appreciate it. And so she gives you the facts as she sees them. They're not always maybe the best way to move forward, but she's going to give you the facts. And honestly, like I said, I love the drow. So giving the chance to romance her, I took that one. I was like, yes, absolutely. I don't even need any other companions. It's just me and Minthara. We're going to take down the
I
Netherbrain.
really like her description of Gale was like, I'm surprised he's made it to this age or something like that without blowing himself up.
Yeah.
Surprised he's still alive. Yeah.
She's easily my favorite character. I mean, I definitely have other characters. There's not a character that I actually just hate, but she's definitely my favorite.
I really like Dirge, but that's not a character. But I like Dirge.
Kind of is.
Yeah, but you can still make them very different. But I do like Dirge. Either way, I like Dirge. Either way, the player decides to go with them. Although of course I feel like resisting the urge is definitely the classic heroic thing that is very, very attractive. But if
the resist is most consistent with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, full context, me and Banana have talked, and he's played a ton of 1 and 2, and so have I. And just our impressions is that a Dirge playthrough is probably a canon playthrough. It seems to be the most consistent with the games and the story.
Yeah, I never played 1 and 2, so yeah, you might be right. Yeah, but if I had to pick a character, it's hard. There's a lot of them that are on the same level, for me anyways. And then there's kind of a male level, and then there's I don't think I hate any of them. There's definitely a good level and a male level.
Yeah. Was there a character that surprised you the most? In doing their story, that you were surprised to find out that they either had grown to a certain point or did something that you didn't expect them to do?
Yeah. I mean, Shadowheart kind of fills in that role, I guess, especially with the attention she gets in Act 2 as well. Even though, you can still kind of steer them into one way or another through your actions or your words. I still feel like she leans more towards the not killing Dame Aelin. If you just leave her be, and the neutral choice, I guess. Astarion surprised me because I thought he was going to be everyone, I think, thought, and most people that didn't dig deep still think this because they only see the asshole. There's a little bit of the flambe syndrome in Astarion as well. He's the asshole, but it's coming from a very vulnerable place rather than a strong place, and it's this very toxic environment that he was in situation, and you realize he's an asshole as a protection rather than that's who he is. Yeah. Am I forgetting someone? I guess no. Gale didn't surprise me. I think if we have to name someone that is my most favorite, it's probably Gale.
He is so smart and so has a lot of worldly wisdom that you would think that he would come off as more conceited. He is to a point, but he's very aware of who he is too. So he doesn't say, I'm the best mage in this group or that you'll ever find. And that's true. But he doesn't. And
he's a little bit too nerdy to be. Yeah. He's the goofy nerdy. Yeah.
He's always amazed by the wonders that are around him. Like, he's like, yeah, the whole Faerun is littered with, these artifacts that we can use to help me consume and keep myself in check. But he's always also like sees things from a point of view of wonderment. He never loses that love for magic. Like, he truly loves magic, and you really get that with Gale. He's a great character.
Overall, the character I enjoyed most in Baldur's Gate 3 was actually Jaheira. I think her appearance in Baldur's Gate 3 made her character from Baldur's Gate 2 something I appreciated more. I enjoyed her in 1 and 2. I think she was, I really enjoyed her character in Baldur's Gate 2. In 1, she was a little underdeveloped in my opinion, but when you meet her in Baldur's Gate 3 and you see where she is and what she's been doing with the last 100 years since the last game and the kind of life she's leading now, she just became so much more of a likable character to me. And this kind of family she's built and the way she goes about protecting them and kind of guiding them to the point where they can protect themselves while also shielding them from the need to ever be in that position. She just becomes this much more engaging character than she was in Baldur's Gate 2. But I think the fact that she existed in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 gave her a little bit of an advantage, because I got to see her development effectively over 100 years, whereas everybody else just had this game.
Yeah, the Baldur's Gate 3 tried to pull in some of the details that were in 1 and 2 that a lot of people just didn't know were part of her canon. For instance, where she was born, and she was actually born out of nobility, but she was never really was raised that way. She had to her castle or wherever she lived, her family was kind of similar to like the Dragon Age Origins human nobility thing. They were just basically ousted, and she was raised by a bunch of druids as a child. So that's how she grew up to be a druid, but her actual background is that of nobility. So it's really interesting to see that in Baldur's Gate 3, there is a reference or two that says that she was, and she just kind of dismissed, like, yeah, I don't know anything about all that. It's not like I, grew up knowing all that, but they do try to pull in this or that. And so if you kind of pay close attention to her lore and stuff in Baldur's Gate 3, it's really consistent. I've had a discussion or two with others that said, the Baldur's Gate 3 is so wildly inconsistent with the. I'm like, it's not as wildly inconsistent as you might think, unless you just don't know the details from 1 and 2, like the actual, like reading the lore, the little books and stuff that come with it.
Well, if we are counting Minsk and Jaheira, I would definitely have to say my favorite character is Boo.
Boo. The miniature space hamster, which they got very specific with that, because hamsters or space hamsters are actually like the size of bears. And
it's a miniaturized giant space hamster.
Yeah, exactly. And when mages thought, hey, these are kind of neat, we'd like to use these as pets, they miniaturized them, but what they didn't realize is they also became intelligent. Some of them became super intelligent when they did that. And so Boo does have the gift of being able to speak telepathically. And so everybody's thinking like Minsk is just talking to Boo in his head, right? But Boo's actually talking to him. So Boo's a great character.
I think that was another part of why I appreciated Jaheira more, is because in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, her interactions with Minsk, you still see her treating him as if he's crazy, and like his interactions with Boo are just nonsense. And then Baldur's Gate 3, you see her soften a lot, and I don't think Boo ever talks to her, but she interacts with Boo in a much more like caring and supportive way than she ever did in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and that makes her a lot more likable. Even if it's just playing along, she's
She's
kind of taken
resigned
on
herself to the crazy.
She's okay with it because of her relationship with Minsk, and that makes it even better. Is like the reason she is on board with being perceived as a crazy person is because she cares about Minsk.
Yeah. I had always had hoped, I really truly thought that in the early access going into 1.0, that Alfira would have been a playable companion.
Oh my god. Don't even.
Because we don't have a bard in the entire game. It's a missing class. We have multiple druids. We got multiple wizards, mages, warlock type things. We have no true bard, and a lot of people love to play bard, and it's a great
barbarian.
class. Well, yeah.
We get two barbarians.
Two barbarians, yeah. So I was fully convinced that Alfira.
Who are we? What? Who's
Minsk
the other barbarian?
Karlak?
Oh, Minsk is a ranger, but his
in the game in Baldur's Gate 3, he is a barbarian for some reason, isn't he?
Is he? He's a berserker in his lore, but he was always a ranger with the ability to enter a rage.
Right. He doesn't make sense
in
1 and 2, but he is a ranger. But
yeah, he joins you as a ranger in 3, but he was originally effectively a barbarian. I think in 2.5 there wasn't a barbarian class. So version D&D version 2.
Yeah.
There wasn't a barbarian. So they introduced a berserker, but they gave him the ranger class. So yeah, I agree. He makes more sense as a barbarian.
I always think of him as
in my head.
Yeah, because he can go berserk. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, there's no bard, there's no monk, and there's no sorcerer. Although the Dark Urge default is sorcerer.
It's sorcerer. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see a monk character.
When I saw Balthazar, I thought, wait a minute, is this the Balthazar? What the hell? But it's a different one. Well, I don't know if that's confirmed.
He says he stole his name.
Okay.
Because you can ask him about that. And I think the implication is that he killed that original Balthazar, took his name, and probably resurrected the corpse because he's a necromancer.
Necromancer, that's what he is, yeah. But yeah, I thought Alfira was going to be a playable character, and I was so disappointed when it became more and more obvious that she wasn't going to be a playable character. So
yeah, and it's even crueler when they get Dirge to kill her specifically. It's a little bit in metagaming, but I always knock her out before the night so that I get the other Dragonborn.
Yeah.
So that I have her, so that I can talk to her in the tavern at the very end where she's happy dating this other tiefling.
I guess that's why they made that, because it's a little bit more impactful, because a lot of people do like Alfira, but she doesn't really serve a purpose beyond background character. So maybe that's why.
How dare you? She gives you the potent robe. That's her purpose.
Yes, exactly. And also, give me Alfira over Will. Am I right?
True.
Give me Alfira over Will.
She actually, she has the robe that makes Will useful.
Yeah.
So without her at all, Will is worthless. I'd rather have her than Will.
Yeah. Will is a kind of a tragic character in that his story is not necessarily tragic, but how he was used by Larian is tragic. Yeah.
He's kind of a tragic character in the sense that he sucks.
Yeah. He had all this stuff going for him, but he was just, because they did change the voice actor. They did change a lot of the information about Will. And I really liked the original way they were going. It seemed to be a little bit more antagonistic, a little bit more friction involved with the story and the characters that he was going to have to be forced to be with. Only thing we got really was he's hunting for Karlak. And that's about as much friction as we get. Whereas before, because of who he is and the swashbuckling hero of the area, he's going to have problems with quite a few people. But He didn't really pursue that as much.
I don't think Karlach was supposed to be even a companion, was she? She came in quite late through the
She came in quite late, but she was, yeah. I don't think in early access you could recruit her, though. She was just a character that you found because of Will, but she was always there at the beach. She never left there. You just would attack the paladins, and then when you came back, she was just grateful. She says, I'll think about joining your party maybe at a later date, but you could never recruit her in early access. So I never really gravitated toward her. So it wasn't one of those 1.0 where I was introduced to her naturally. I always had this headcanon of like, she's just not recruitable. So, but
she's all right.
She's all right.
That's it. That's all.
Banana loves Karlach for sure. So I'll let.
Really do.
Yeah. Well, tell me about it, Banana. Why do you love Karlach so much?
So I think one of the things we've talked about with Karlach is something I find very relatable, in that Karlach's story is somebody who is trying to make the best of the situation that they're in. So she grew up essentially no one on the streets of Baldur's Gate. And she tried to make something of herself, and she tried to essentially use what she's good at to advance herself, which is pretty understandable. It's a very simple ambition. And then she gets involved with terrible people who take advantage of her and manipulate her into basically destroying her own life. And she finds herself in this absolutely impossible to navigate kind of circumstance where she is now dependent on the people who have been abusing her to kind of keep going. So she ends up with this artificial heart that can't exist outside of Avernus, where she is tasked with fighting Zariel's war for her. And she sees this opportunity to escape. She gets out, and then nothing goes well. Everything from that moment on sucks. And you don't always see that side of it. You don't see the negativity. She doesn't bring it up. She doesn't constantly discuss all of the shit that she has to deal with it. You only see it in spurts and bursts. So when you first meet her, she seems kind of happy. She seems, chill. She laughs when you first bring her into the party. And then you see her in the confrontation with the paladins, and she sinks into that rage, and you see like, okay, she was really not happy in Avernus. She's willing to die if her choice is between dying or going back to Avernus. So there's some darkness there that she is only letting us see in these moments of weakness. And then you progress with her story, and if you bring her into the fight with Gortash, she kind of completes that revenge arc that we see in a lot of other characters, that like they define themselves by closing this story where somebody betrayed them, and that is their sole focus until they get that revenge. And she has that moment where she realizes, all right, that story is over. I have to find purpose again. But she also has that artificial heart that can't exist outside of Avernus, and she's not going back to Avernus. So she now has to find a purpose in an artificially reduced period of time before she dies, for what was essentially just doing her best her entire life. She was just trying to make the best of her situation, and everything just kept going wrong. And really none of it was her fault. So she is permanently in this position of, I have to make things better because they went very poorly for me, even though I didn't do anything wrong. And that's really why I enjoy the character of Karlach, is she's somebody who is rarely getting the success that you would expect to see from a normal character arc in video games. In video games, they're usually simplified down where like, okay, you have a good person who's putting in the effort to get good things. Eventually, in a happy game, that person will have a happy ending. That doesn't happen for Karlach. Karlach tries her best. She makes what she thinks are good decisions. She's a good person. Her ending sucks. Her ending is miserable. And that is fundamentally why I always find myself romancing Karlach. Not so much because I think she is this like perfect romantic partner. It's because that's really the only way she has anybody in her ending. Her endings are either go back to Avernus alone or go back to Avernus with you.
You can actually send her to Avernus
my
with
book.
Will
to go. Yeah.
Yeah, but Will sucks.
See,
I think she liked Will in their conversations when you got them both in the party.
Yeah.
and that's also what I was going to say is that arc with Will could definitely, if they had just merged those two together, that would have been a little bit more for both of them. I think that would have been enhanced the story quite a bit. But
And
I also
especially
think,
if you don't kill her, Karlach, and have Will say no to Mizora and get himself in this terrible situation where he's now half a demon or whatever that is. She's that much more grateful to Will. So it kind of makes sense that they would both go to Avernus.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
I think that this plays back to our discussion of the Baldur's Gate companions before. I've said to Legion, one of the reasons I don't appreciate Will is because Will is the character I'm already playing. Will is, the cliched hero. He's this fallen hero is trying to do what's right. So the idea of sending Karlach back to Avernus with the inferior version of the character I've already created, it's not an option. She should get the good one, which is the main character.
well, speaking from an artist's point of view, Maffie, do you like how Karlach was done? Would have done anything a little different with her?
In design wise?
Yeah, design wise.
Her looks, you mean? Or
yeah, I mean,
writing?
she also kind of starts off with the ragged clothes and stuff, and I would think that she'd be a little bit more because she's maybe that's just her personality, but because she's a kind of more or less a leader of of Zariel in the.
She'd have a lot more spikes.
Or something like with her uniform would be a little bit more, yeah.
Like Sauron.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would definitely make her cooler.
Yeah. Because when you see her, you're almost thinking like she's been in distress for, well, she has been. She's been running away. But I would still think that she would carry the most powerful things that she could to make that getaway, and she would be kind of like a force when you first see her, which I'm not criticizing the presentation of it. I just thought, well, there's another way of looking at this. And
yeah, I got a thing in games where they underdress people, especially women or females in games, because it's the most attractive thing, but actually not, the most accurate thing. Like if you're wearing a dress to battle, you will die.
Yeah.
a bikini with an armor rating of 20.
Yeah. But then she's like grabbing her thigh with an arrow through it and wondering, oh my god, how'd this happen? Like my armor is so good.
This could have been avoided.
So yeah, I definitely think she'd be at least more covered up. She's got very little, especially for a barbarian. Well, I mean,
they tend to.
I guess barbarians do kind of tend to use ragged clothes, but from an actual realistic point of view, that's definitely not the most ideal garment.
Yeah, because barbarians can wear male armor, right? Like split mail.
Barbarians are
leather for sure, but I thought they could wear splint mail by default.
They can wear up to medium armor.
Right. So splint mail.
So not splint. like chain.
Chainmail. Okay.
Yeah.
But even still, yeah.
I think part of this, the design of Karlach that makes sense to me is in the idea of her fighting in this war in hell. It almost seems like the way you would expect the frontline soldiers in hell to operate is they're not relying on equipment. They're defining their combat ability by themselves. And with the way barbarians work in the D&D mechanics, they get a bonus to their armor if they're not wearing armor. So she gets a bonus based on her constitution to her armor class if she's wearing clothing as opposed to lighter medium armor. So her clothing design feels like it's lore appropriate because in Avernus, if she had enchanted armor that was protecting her, she wouldn't be respected by other demons who are just like, look how powerful I am that I don't need equipment. And it makes a sense in the gameplay design in that she's just wearing clothing because a barbarian works in the sense of wearing clothing. They don't need armor to make their build work. But yeah, I definitely get what Maffie's saying where, you know, they show up in a bikini and it's like, yeah, I don't for a second believe you're protected. You're trying to die.
I guess I didn't take into account the D&D style because I'm not very well versed into the D&D thing. I think Baldur's Gate was the first kind of like D&D experience that I had. But from a designing point of view, if you want to portray someone who's very powerful, you make their armor or their outer self look very powerful as well.
Yeah, I definitely think she should have been more of like a warrior, just a straight up warrior. I think it may have been boring, but I think that would have fit a little bit better. Because you look at all the other characters, Astarion looks like he's this kind of noble character. Gale looks like a mage. The druids look like druids. I mean, Shadowheart definitely has the Shard's cleric outfit on. I mean, they all kind of fit. Karlach's the only one that kind of is that outlier, and she's already this big red, sexy demon-like character, tiefling. Let's just kind of go with that, you know. Let's just make her spiced up, you know. But
why not actually have a demon in our party rather than a tiefling?
Then it would be a true Malevola.
Yes.
I think Karlach's
Mazora,
origin.
Let's go. Mazora in our party.
Oh man, Mazora.
I think Karlach's origin as a tiefling works with the tragedy of her character in a way that having her as an actual demon wouldn't. Yeah. She has the cosmetics of a demon.
That. Yeah. Just make it.
Come on, Banana. Work with us.
Yeah. Sorry. It was out of line for me.
What if down the line we had to choose, okay, we keep Karlach. Okay, Banana. We keep Karlach. But in Will's storyline, we are able to choose whether he stays or Mazora stays with us in the companions.
That's great. Yeah. But then Karlach would leave if we chose Mazora. It would be you'd lose too.
Nah, there's bound to be a way.
There's got to be a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I think there's a way to write that where Mazora turns on Zariel and Karlach opens up to the idea that while she still probably doesn't like Mazora, she hated her because of her association with Zariel. And if Mazora reveals oh, I was just playing the odds and waiting for my opportunity to betray Zariel so I could do what I wanted, I feel like there's a way to write that where Karlach opens up to the idea and kind of begrudgingly goes along with it.
Yeah.
And then we get rid of Will, who sucks. So
and
okay
we get Mizora, who's amazing, and we'd actually be able to have a romance with her, or more of a romance with her potentially.
Yeah, Mizora. I do like Mizora. I love her lines. I like how she's delivered. Yeah. Ooh.
What I feel like is a real shame in Baldur's Gate, and even me who never played any other D&D stuff, is that none of our companions is a short race.
Right.
That's such a miss. A gnome, please give me a gnome or a dwarf, something.
That was actually something that was an issue in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 as well. There are very few companions from those races. Yeah.
We have one,
or a halfling, right?
We have one great one in Baldur's Gate 2. Banana Nose. She's a paladin warrior. Well, no, I guess she's a paladin.
She's just a fighter.
That's right. She's a fighter because she can't be a paladin in that rule set. And it's actually voiced by Jennifer Hale. So Shepherd. So, but it is your halfling warrior companion, and I guess she is lawful good. I don't remember her class.
She's lawful,
but she wants to be a paladin. Right. She should be a paladin, but she can't.
Is effectively a paladin. Yeah. But yeah, the only other good characters from that, like the shorter races, the only other one I liked was Alora, and she is introduced so late in Baldur's Gate 1 that most people don't even play with her. Then you have T-Ax, who sucks, Quail, who sucks. Corgan and Kagain are they're good characters, but they're evil aligned, so like unless you're open to that aspect of the way those characters work, you're not going to bring them with you. That's it.
Well, no, you have the dwarf character that's a cleric. He's good.
Quail?
No.
Oh. No, Yeslik.
Yeslik, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's kind of boring.
Just give us a halfling who's a bard in Baldur's Gate 3, and he's got like, I don't know, his companion quest is like, he's got some quest of bringing a ring to a mountain or something like that.
I like it.
Okay, Maffie's like, hear me out.
I do.
No,
I feel like Maffie would have appreciated my idea of bringing the turtle race into D&D, and then we could have 4 turtle monks and their
oh my god,
their ratkin teacher.
Yeah,
I think because from the design point of view, they wanted to make all the companions, or almost all the companions, romanceable, right? And for that to happen, they have to be minimally attractive from a design point of view. People, they want to make players want to romance that person, and usually it's through looks. And it's hard to make a short race attractive to a taller race.
I don't know what you're talking
because
about.
Of I'm just saying from design point of view, and most gamers, it would be hard. So I feel like definitely a shorter race with the bard class, like a charming, kind of wins you over by being, maybe funny or maybe very charming.
So you could have like a gnome or a halfling character in the place of Alfira. I mean, she didn't have. They do have.
I think Barkus could have been a solid companion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's there for most of it.
I'm not sure what class he would have been, but he definitely could have been. He's a very likable companion.
Definitely not a bard.
Yeah, definitely not a bard. But he's a very likable character, and he has a very kind of reasonable quest that's taking him to Baldur's Gate 3. So there is kind of that classic BioWare, they have their own thing going on. It kind of lines up with where you're already headed. They might as well join you for a bit. And then potentially realizing like, oh, they actually have reasons to support your goal as well. So I definitely think there was the possibility for Barkus to be more involved. But yeah, I agree. I especially with them keeping the Nimblefinger gloves from Baldur's Gate 2, which I loved, and those other pieces of gear that are like, if your character is a halfling or a gnome, they get this bonus. There are no halflings or gnomes that we can recruit, so I have to pick my character to be that. And I don't particularly like that style where it's like the only way to have this in your game is if your character is built that way.
There's the one.
I also like the Dragonborn, so I would have liked more companions like that too.
A Dragonborn, yeah.
This is kind of out of left field, but the gnome, that dark gnome who is the archaeologist, or maybe he's an architect, the one that you
Dwergar,
the Dwergar that you meet right off as you get off. If you get off the boat, and just he also is a vendor. It's where you can get one of your.
Oh, he asks you what you think about the destruction.
If he became a companion, I wouldn't hate that either, because then you'd have to choose, like, because he is evil aligned. You could have a more evil party that's more natural.
He also feels like evil aligned in the way that Viconia was, where it's like he grew up in a society that was aligned to be evil. He doesn't necessarily see the inherent value of being evil. It's just he was kind of going along with the flow. Because when you meet him, there's nothing about him that is like he is lusting after power, or he is trying to manipulate other people, or reveling in the suffering of others. He just has his goal, which is this recovery of artifacts and this kind of like understanding of where they are in the Grimforge, and asks for your support in that. And he values the input you provide him. So like there's nothing inherently problematic, but you would definitely have the opportunities that you had with Viconia, where he brings that societal bias with him, where he expects you to behave in the way that he's familiar with, and when you don't, it creates story opportunities.
He's also not immediately hostile. If you were to attack the Dwergar with what's his face, he doesn't come with the rest of them to attack you. He's only going to attack you if you go into his specific space at that point. Yep. So maybe they were thinking about it at one point. Who knows?
I also think that the girl, she's a gnome. The one that you track down, and she's got the rune powder.
Yeah.
She's also interesting.
Names.
Yeah, she's interesting.
Banana knows I don't remember names anyway, but yeah, I know.
Philomene? I think that's it.
Philomena.
Yeah.
Philomena.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Philomena. Yeah.
Yeah,
she's also interesting. She could be. Could be one. She's definitely fearless. Brave.
She has some kind of spell casting ability, because she's ready to set that barrel on fire. She's a funny one because her accent sounds exactly like somebody I know, and like the way she speaks. So every time I meet that character, I'm thinking of my friend who sounds exactly like them. And if they were a companion, I'd be like, all right, this person's never allowed to take damage now. Like, we have to protect them.
Yeah, that was a huge miss. I would have loved to see a smaller race, or a Dragonborn. Yeah.
I think Dragonborn monk would have been a fun introduction. Alfira as your bard, and then a gnome sorcerer in Philomene. And then you fill out all of those missing classes.
Yeah, I definitely think we should have gotten at least one of each instead of 2 from the same class.
It's not completely foreign to Larian because in Divine Divinity 2, you do have one. You start off with one. They are a dragon-born character, and they're kind of like a noble.
Oh, the
or
red,
something.
the red dude.
Yeah, the red guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like it's a foreign concept to Larian. They could have done that pretty easily.
I wonder why they didn't. If it was really about just making that character seem attractive or romanceable.
Maybe they were on the fence about bringing in Dragonkin to begin with as a race, because you didn't get them right off for most of the early access. They weren't around, so who knows.
But the halflings and the gnomes and the dwarves were.
But they clearly addressed that issue right off the bat because the Dragonborn have the best underwear.
What was it? What was her name? Scout Harding? Like, make her a good romance in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, everybody wanted to romance Harding. Yep. That's,
Just do that.
And then you can romance her in Veilguard. And people are like, never mind.
Yeah, like, who? Nobody asked for this. What are you talking about? Everybody asked for this.
No.
I asked for it.
That was not the reason. She's just a completely different person in Veilguard than she was in the other game, in Inquisition.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to her in Veilguard because obviously there would have to be, and you're given so little in Inquisition. But I think the issue in Inquisition was that you're given the opportunity to flirt with her, but not follow through with a romance. And a lot of people were like, pick one. Either I can't flirt with her or she's a romance option.
No, I feel like, some people we can definitely flirt with, but none of it would ever come to fruition. I think that we should definitely... I try to sow as much chaos as I can in my playthroughs without actually committing, just because I can. I flirt with them up until the point of no return, and I'm like, nah, dude, it's just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
I think I would hate that in real life. But because of the way these things are implemented in game, and there's such a blurred line between just being a decent person and flirting with them, I totally have done that myself, where it's like, I just want to be a good friend who's supportive. And the only way to do that is to say this thing that comes across as flirting because of the limited options in the dialogue tree. So I've definitely done that before. Like, I'll lead Garrus almost up to the point of a relationship, and it's just like, no, I was just being nice. We're just pals.
No, even in real life, I think there's nothing wrong with innocent flirting. It's just funny. Obviously, with when the other person is also mature enough to take that as a joke.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well,
I feel like that last part is where my opinion shifts. Like, without that qualifier, I disagree with you. With that qualifier, 100% on board.
Exactly. Listen, we're talking about all the blonde blazers of the world, not the Invincicals.
Yeah.
Not enough of either, unfortunately. But so it was a good talking to you, Maffie. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Banana, again for another high quality episode.
Well, to be decided.
To be determined. Yeah.
I will say, like, as far as I'm concerned, it absolutely was not lower quality than anything we've ever done. So, like, I think pretty solid, but
yeah,
maybe I'm biased.
But definitely, if you're up for it, Maffie, you're always open door. You can always join us whenever you want to. Appreciate you being here, and we will check you guys later. But make sure you like the episode if you like it, and subscribe. Subscriptions are always free on YouTube, and we're on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, I think that's, and of course, our YouTube podcast. And we will check you guys later.
And we will make sure that Maffie's link is in the description if you want to check out her channel.
Check out her channel, and I'll try to put the Instagram handle there too for you, because some of her artwork's there. It's phenomenal. So we'll check you guys later. Bye-bye.